Hey guys, welcome to Dragon Ball Daily Draw and Review, the show where I, a lifelong Dragon Ball fan, attempt to read, watch, and review every chapter, episode, and movie in the Dragon Ball franchise in the order it was originally released in Japan. I'm Philip, and today we're discussing Dragon Ball Manga Chapter 1, entitled Bulma and Son Goku, which, according to the website Kanzenshu, was originally published in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine on November 20th, 1984, written and drawn by series creator Akira Toriyama. Dragon Ball was actually the second major work by Toriyama, who was already one of the richest and most successful manga creators in Japan thanks to his previous hit, the sci-fi comedy series Dr. Slump. Imagine like if Dexter's Lab met The Simpsons. Initially, he only planned for Dragon Ball to last about 15 chapters, just long enough for its main characters to collect all 7 of the titular Dragon Balls and summon the wish-granting dragon. But his editor, Kazuhiko Torishima, saw potential for something much bigger. And he was right. Over the next 40 years, Dragon Ball would explode into a multimedia empire, winning fans all over the globe. Cartoons, movies, video games, and more. Even though we lost Toriyama himself last year, the series is still more popular and vital than ever. And it all begins here. This first chapter introduces us to our brave heroes, Son Goku and Bulma, 2 characters who are each a masterclass in character creation. Bulma is a super smart teenage girl. Imagine if Summer from Rick and Morty had the brains of Rick from Rick and Morty. Bulma is on a hunt to track down and acquire 7 ancient artifacts known as Dragon Balls. Legend has it if you gather all 7, you can summon a dragon who, like the genie in Aladdin, will grant you a single wish. Bulma wants to wish for the world's best boyfriend, and rather than invent online dating, she instead invents a handheld radar to track down each of the energy signals left by each individual Dragon Ball. She's already got 2, and the third leads her to a strange boy living alone in the mountains named Son Goku. Goku is the current holder of the 4-star ball, which he inherited from his deceased grandfather, martial arts master Son Gohan. Grandpa Gohan had evidently taught Goku everything he knew, initially explaining why Goku can lift cars, fight and kill wild animals, and survive bullets to the face. That's right, Bulma hits Goku with her car and then shoots him in the face when they first meet. Bulma is kind of the low-key villain of this chapter. In 30 short pages, she runs over Goku with her car, shoots him in the face when he gets mad about it, expects him to hand over his priceless family heirloom, attempts to seduce him when he won't hand it over, and then tricks him into coming with her on a quest to act as her free bodyguard, and opts out of telling him that his prized Dragon Ball will disappear once he lets her borrow it to summon the dragon at the end and get her wish. That Goku and Bulma are polar opposites is something that should come across in the title of the chapter, or at least it would if you grew up in Japan. You see, that title is supposed to be read as a joke, something to catch your eye and pique your interest. Because Japanese readers would very likely see the name Son Goku and get that it was the Japanese way of saying the name of the hero of a famous Chinese tale, Journey to the West. So you get that air of sophistication, of myths and legends. Conversely, the name I, used for the other character is Bulma, which is a corruption of the Japanese attempt to say the English word bloomers, or ba-lu-ma, which means ladies' underpants, and which I'm told is what they call the short shorts Japanese schoolgirls wore in gym class. So basically, the title of this chapter is meant to evoke something in your mind along the lines of the adventures of Moses from the Old Testament and Penny from the Big Bang Theory. Toriyama wants you to read those names and think to yourself, what the heck? The reason I think these 2 characters work so well together is that while Goku is clueless and Bulma is so selfish it borders on evil, is that every time Bulma does something out of pocket, the narrative punishes her for it, almost immediately. Because, as many more people will learn throughout the coming years, Son Goku doesn't just wear plot armor, Son Goku is the plot armor. In fact, you can see in this very first chapter a theme and routine that will play out again and again throughout the series. Something that, once you notice it, you can never unnotice it. And it's this: that even though Goku is ostensibly the main character of Dragon Ball, we will spend an awful lot of time and energy in the heads of and on the side of people trying to get one over on Goku. Because, you see, Goku is a force of nature, and tornadoes don't always make for interesting characters, because they have all the power. But people trying to survive an encounter with a tornado, that shit's interesting. And Goku is, without a doubt, and unbeknownst to Bulma at this time, the world's smallest, cutest, and kindest natural disaster. But more on that next time. So you may be asking yourself, who the hell am I? Well, my name's Philip. I've been watching, drawing, and talking way too much about Dragon Ball for the last 25 years. I was born the same year Dragon Ball started, 1984, and I first encountered the series at the end of the 1990s here in America on Cartoon Network's Toonami block, which at the time was specializing in showing animated series originating in Japan, like Sailor Moon, Ronin Warriors, and Gundam Wing. And while all these shows were special and stood out to me in one way or another, there was nothing on earth like Dragon Ball Z. With its insane fight choreography, planet-crushing feats, and weird left-brain character designs, combined with a deep, never-ending, super addictive soap opera narrative, forget being a show from another country, Dragon Ball Z felt like a show from another planet. I was immediately freaked out by it when I first saw it, which meant I couldn't stop watching it. The problem was, in the 1990s and early 2000s, you couldn't just download the whole manga series to your phone or watch it on streaming. Every little piece of information or merchandise or insider knowledge had to be snatched away from the jaws of the internet. I felt like Indiana Jones sneaking into ancient tombs, stealing secret knowledge. It fostered in me a lifelong desire to snatch up anything and everything Dragon Ball related. Even today, when you can download the manga or just watch it on your phone. Over the years, I built up a massive collection. Manga in multiple languages, different anime dubs, figurines, art books, data books, you name it. At some point, I had the realization, I think I might have access to every piece of Dragon Ball media on the planet. And what's funny is, I haven't actually watched most of it. Because while I've read the manga from cover to cover 1,000 times, even going so far as to do my own personal translation of all 519 chapters, plus the Trunks special and the Bardock episode minus, I use the term translation loosely, but we can talk about that later. But even with all that, I realized I've only ever seen the anime all the way through maybe once, collectively, over the course of my entire life. And that led to the next question. If I did want to go through all this material, how would I structure that? The simplest answer became, after a lot of different combinations, was just do it all, including the manga, in the order it was originally released in Japan. And then a thought struck me. Maybe other people would be interested in that too. And so here we are. My goal is to read and watch everything in release order and track how all these different pieces fit together. When does the anime expand on the manga? When do the movies influence the later story arcs? When does a continuity snarl get created where nothing makes sense with anything else? And while we do all that, I'm going to be drawing for you some of my favorite characters, scenes, and moments in Toriyama style, because, it's a thing I can do. And I hope I'll add a little bit more of me to this work. Also, it just kind of seemed like a smart way to try to avoid copyright strikes. The goal is to upload a new episode every day of the week, all 5 days of the weekday, working through the entire franchise, one chapter, episode, and movie at a time. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to like and subscribe. It's going to take us around 65 chapters or so before the anime would eventually debut in Japan. After that, we're going to be alternating between them, exploring how each one influences the other. And if you really, really like the show, you can buy me a coffee, or as I call them, Senzu Beans. I'm still not 100% on that joke. A big debt of thanks goes to the aforementioned Kanzenshu fan website, where the dates came from. And also fellow YouTuber Mr. Fusion, whose Dragon Ball dissection videos have been a huge inspiration. And lastly, to the Star Wars Minute podcast, whose daily format I'm shamelessly co-opting. Thanks again for watching, guys. See you back here tomorrow for Manga Chapter 2 on Dragon Ball Daily Draw and Review.